Most of you students haven't been on campus for the past 10 years, so let's fill you in. A couple things have changed. We built a new library. We made a big Power C. We made Cardiac Hill cardiac stairs. We redid Chamberlain Field, and we put a big Power C in that too. We even got a Starbucks. We made Crossroads. We built West Campus. We acquired the State Building and the Matt Building. We added intramural fields and built the Arc. We repaved Vine Street and Oak Street. Okay, a lot's changed, but enough from me. Let's hear from the people that have seen it firsthand.
I started here as a freshman in 1980. I lived in the dorm right across the street there, and got my bachelor's degree in 1985. Came back to work in 1986 while I worked on my master's degree. So I actually worked in the building at one point. I had an office in one of the dorm rooms similar to the dorm room that I grew up in. So that was really kind of wild.
When I came here, it was 40 years ago. UTC was totally different than UTC of today. We didn't have the buildings, we didn't have the programs. I came from California, from Cal State system here. And you can imagine what it was like 40 years ago. Even the city was so different. Campus has become a gorgeous place. In the past 10 years, it's been amazing how much development we have had.
When I first became aware of the university was 2007, and I met David Brodsky, who was at the time the department head in political science, and he was telling me about this department where their entire faculty came between 68 and 72. They all stayed, and now they were all going to retire, and they didn't know what to do. And so I watched the position, and when it finally came up in 2013, no, I guess it was fall 2012, it was the only one I applied for because I thought that would be really fun.
We went through in the mid-teens a big, long process of curriculum mapping across the entire campus. Every program was looked at, every set of faculty on the whole campus pulled out their program outcomes. This is what we expect them to be able to do by the time they finish. All right, does every course feed to those program outcomes, or do we have courses that don't? How do they get from here to there to there to graduation?
Lots of people, because that big boom of faculty who were hired in the 60s and 70s were all retiring, so there was all of a sudden these new hires at the same time. And so the university all of a sudden had been so protected, I think because of the UC Foundation and because of good management, that had been protected from a lot of those outside forces. But it caught up with UTC, and then we had about 5 years of all of a sudden, in a very short period of time, addressing these very important external issues. And so you had this short period of time where there was great change. And now I think we're back to kind of slowly, adjusting and changing and knowing who we are.
We have people that they have excellent vision. Colleagues, I'm so proud of them. They're what they can see, they can look into the future and see what we need. You name it, any of our divisions, they have grown because of the vision of people that we have in there.
All the things that came down with the Complete College Act, everybody was looking around, okay, how are we going to do things different? We brought in a new advising system, the EAB platforms, where every student has a record and every advisor has a way to say, okay, you're doing well, it looks like everything's on track, or I don't know if you realize or not, but for this major, if you don't pass this chemistry course, you're going to really have a difficult time getting down the road, so that we have a chance to catch students in advance of things and make sure that they understand exactly what they've got to be able to do to succeed. The administration has been pushing behind all of these things. They make sure that faculty, staff, and students all have the tools that they need to get this done, and I think that's the continuing push. How do we stay ahead of that curve as best we can?
At least for us, it's the things that inspire us, and then we want to go into the classroom and share it with our students. That we're not just telling them what we've read in a book, or we're not just telling them what other people have said. We're not just working through a textbook with them. We're actually walking them through the process of discovery, the process that we're going through every single day.
So that $40 million, part of it, of course, I have to say, part of it, Mr. Rollins gave the money to renovate our building. But all the rest of it, we have assistantships, scholarships, better facilities, and This $40 million is going to be all for our students. And Mr. Rollins wanted it that way.
We're doing this because we really like our field and we really like working with students because we think we have the coolest job in the world. I think we've gotten better at deciding who we are and what we do and what we value. That helps because then you have a way of framing things. We are a community-focused institution and that we want to be clearly involved in the Chattanooga area. I am excited about the focus on diversity, that we're willing to think about our curriculum in different ways. That just doesn't mean tolerating each other, but that we as a community transform because of all these different voices here. You have a way of pulling people with very different interests and very different approaches together. All of this is good because we're all working towards the same end.